Stop right there. Empty your pockets. A racist mall security guard yells as he drags a black teen in front of a shocked crowd. The boy begs, "I didn't steal anything," but the guard sneers, calling him a thief. What happens next? The truth explodes when the teen's powerful father walks in, and the entire mall is left speechless. Stay tuned. You won't believe this ending. The booming voice of a security guard echoed through the crowded shopping mall. Stop right! There! Empty your pockets! Shoppers froze mid-step. Heads turned. Phones came out. A tall, muscular guard had grabbed a young black teen by the arm, gripping him tightly as if he'd just caught a dangerous criminal. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Some people whispered in shock. What did he steal? Did they finally catch someone? The boy's name was Marcus, just 16 years old. He wasn't a thief. He wasn't a troublemaker. He was just a kid in jeans and a simple hoodie who had come to the mall with one mission, to buy a birthday present for his little sister. But none of that mattered to the guard. You think you can just walk in here, grab whatever you want, and sneak out because nobody's watching? The guard sneered, jerking Marcus's backpack off his shoulders. His voice carried across the hall, dripping with arrogance and prejudice. Marcus's heart pounded. His voice trembled, but he spoke with steady courage. I didn't steal anything, sir. I paid. Please, let me go. But the guard wasn't listening. His face twisted with contempt. Save your lies. I've seen your type before. Hood up, hands in pockets. You people are always stealing. And today, you got caught. Those words cut like a knife. The crowd murmured, some outraged, others silent with discomfort. A woman near the front shook her head. That's racist, she whispered. Yet no one stepped forward to stop it. The guard ripped open Marcus's backpack and dumped everything onto the shiny mall floor. Out tumbled a phone, a wallet, and a neatly wrapped toy car, the birthday gift for Marcus's little sister. Attached to it was a receipt with the store's logo printed clearly. The truth was right there. Marcus had paid, but the guard refused to admit he was wrong. Fake receipt, he barked. Nice try, kid. You're coming with me. Let's see what the police have to say. Marcus's eyes filled with tears, not from fear, but from humiliation. All around him, strangers recorded his shame on their phones. He clenched his fists, wanting to defend himself, but a voice echoed in his memory. When the world doubts you, stay calm. The truth always wins. Those were his father's words. Words he had heard many times, but what the guard didn't know, what nobody in that mall knew, was that Marcus's father wasn't just an ordinary man. He was someone who could turn this entire scene upside down in an instant and the moment. He walked through the doors. The mall would never forget it. Minutes felt like hours. The guard gripped Marcus's arm, dragging him toward the security office. The crowd followed, buzzing with whispers. Some shook their heads in disgust. Others looked away in discomfort. Suddenly, a powerful voice thundered from the entrance of the mall. Unhand my son! Right now! The entire building seemed to fall silent. Shoppers froze, heads whipped toward the voice. Striding through the sliding doors was a tall man in a tailored navy suit. His polished shoes clicked against the floor as if announcing his authority with every step. His presence was commanding, his gaze sharp, his expression deadly serious. Dad. Marcus breathed in relief. The guard frowned, still holding Marcus. And who are you supposed to be? He scoffed. The man reached into his pocket and pulled out an ID badge, flashing it with deliberate precision. His voice was calm, but laced with fire. I am Judge Anthony Johnson, Superior Court Judge of this state, and you've just unlawfully detained and racially profiled my son. The guard's face went pale. The crowd gasped. Whispers exploded. A judge? Did he say judge? Oh, this man is finished. Judge Johnson stepped closer, his eyes burning with controlled fury. You had proof of purchase right in front of you, yet you chose to ignore it. Instead, you humiliated my son, in public. based only on the color of his skin. Marcus pulled the receipt from the floor and handed it to his father. Judge Johnson raised it high for everyone to see. "This," he said firmly, "is evidence. Evidence of a young man doing the right thing. And this," he pointed directly at the guard, his voice booming, "is evidence of abuse of power." The crowd erupted, some applauding, others shouting in agreement. Cameras zoomed in closer. The guard stammered, his arrogance collapsing. I was just doing my job." "No," the judge snapped. "You weren't doing your job. You were feeding your prejudice. You've disgraced this mall, embarrassed my son, and revealed exactly why justice still has work to do." The mall manager rushed forward, beads of sweat on his forehead. "Judge Johnson, please, let's resolve this. It was a misunderstanding." But the judge shook his head, his voice steady as steel. "This was not a misunderstanding. This was racism, plain and simple. And unless action is taken immediately, I'll see to it that this video is in every courtroom and newsroom by tomorrow morning." The guard's knees buckled. His face drained of all color. He had no defense. Within minutes, the mall security team relieved him of duty and escorted him out. The very man who had dragged Marcus through the mall was now being dragged out himself, head down, humiliated, while the crowd cheered his removal. Judge Johnson placed a hand on Marcus's shoulder, speaking loud enough for everyone to hear. "Let this day be a reminder. Respect must never depend on appearance. A hoodie does not make a thief. A skin color does not define guilt. Everyone deserves dignity, whether they are rich or poor, black or white." Applause thundered through the mall. Phones stayed raised, capturing every second. Marcus walked out beside his father, no longer humiliated, but proud. And that night, the video went viral. Millions saw the truth. A racist guard accused the wrong teen and paid the price when the boy's father, one of the most respected judges in the state, stepped in. The world was reminded of one powerful truth. Never judge someone by how they look, because you never know who stands behind them. The crowd grew tense inside the busy shopping mall. The scene unfolding in front of them looked like something out of a movie. A young black teen, just 16 years old, was being dragged by a furious security guard. His backpack was ripped off, his belongings dumped on the floor, and yet the guard kept shouting as if he'd caught a dangerous criminal. Gasps echoed through the mall. Phones were raised, recording every second. Some whispered, "Did he really steal?" Others muttered under their breath, "This feels wrong." The boy's name was Marcus, a quiet, kind-hearted teenager who had come to the mall with just one mission, to buy a birthday gift for his little sister. He wasn't there to cause trouble. He wasn't there to steal. But in the eyes of the guard, Marcus's hoodie, his skin color, and his calm silence were enough proof of guilt. "Don't lie to me, kid," the guard barked, gripping Marcus's arm tighter. "I've seen your type before. Stealing, lying, pretending. Not today." "I'm taking you to the back," Marcus tried to reason. His voice cracked with humiliation, but he stood tall. "Sir, I didn't steal anything. Please, just check the receipt. I bought this with my own money." The guard ignored him. Instead, he sneered and held up the toy car Marcus had purchased. The receipt was right there, stapled to the bag. But rather than admit his mistake, the guard twisted reality. "Fake receipt. Don't play games with me. You're coming with me right now." The crowd grew restless. A woman stepped forward, shouting, "Check the receipt. He paid fair and square." But the guard silenced her with a glare. His pride wouldn't let him back down. He dragged Marcus toward the security office, humiliation dripping from every step. And that's when it happened. From across the mall entrance, a commanding voice thundered, "Unhand my son, now!" The entire mall froze. Shoppers turned their heads. Even the guard stiffened, his grip on Marcus loosening. Through the sliding glass doors walked a man who radiated authority. He wore a perfectly tailored suit, shoes polished to perfection, and an expression so sharp that the crowd instinctively stepped back to give him space. His very presence demanded respect. Marcus's eyes filled with relief. "Dad," he whispered. The guard blinked, then scoffed. "And who are you supposed to be?" The man didn't flinch. He reached into his jacket and pulled out a badge, flashing it in the guard's face. His voice was steady, but filled with thunder. "I am Judge Anthony Johnson, Superior Court Judge of this state. And you've just unlawfully detained and racially profiled my son." The crowd gasped so loudly it echoed through the atrium. Murmurs spread like wildfire. "A judge? Did he say judge? Oh, this guard's career is over." The guard's arrogance crumbled instantly. His face drained of color. I was just doing my job, sir." "No," Judge Johnson cut in sharply. "You weren't doing your job. You were abusing your authority. You saw a black teenager and assumed he was a thief. You ignored the evidence, the receipt in his hand, because you had already made up your mind. That is not security. That is prejudice." Marcus held up the crumpled receipt with trembling fingers. "Here, Dad. Proof." The judge snatched it and raised it high so everyone could see. His voice boomed across the crowd. "This is what honesty looks like. And this," he pointed directly at the guard, "is the shame of judging someone by their skin color rather than the truth." Applause broke out. The crowd erupted, shouting words of support. Phones captured every angle, live streaming the confrontation. This was no longer just an incident at the mall. This was a lesson being broadcast to the world. The mall manager came rushing over, sweating nervously. "Judge Johnson, sir, please. This is just a misunderstanding." But the judge shook his head firmly. "No, this is not a misunderstanding. This is systemic bias on display. If your mall does not take immediate action, this video will reach every newsroom in the city by nightfall." The guard's pride shattered completely. He stammered, begging, "Please, I didn't mean, I was only—" But it was far too late. The manager turned red with embarrassment, then turned cold with resolve. "You're fired, effective immediately." Two other guards escorted the disgraced man out of the building, his head hanging in shame. The same humiliation he had forced onto Marcus now fell squarely on his own shoulders. Judge Johnson turned to his son, resting a hand on his shoulder. His tone softened, but his words carried weight. "Son, let today remind you, the world may doubt you, but truth will always defend you. And as long as I breathe, you will never stand alone." The mall burst into cheers. Some people clapped. Others chanted Marcus's name. For a moment, that crowded building wasn't just a mall. It became a courtroom, and justice had been served in front of everyone. The video went viral that very night. Millions watched as a racist guard learned the hard way that prejudice has consequences. But the real message wasn't about humiliation. It was about respect. Because in the end, the world learned a powerful truth. Never judge someone by appearances, because you never know who they really are or who stands behind them. If this story shocked you, imagine how many real-life situations go unseen every single day. Respect everyone equally, and if you believe justice should always win, hit that subscribe button and join us for more stories that will leave you speechless.